Howdy, cadre. Cue loading screen. All right. I think my master volume is turned down. I don't know if that affects recording or just playback. Who knows? Oh, this is kind of a intermediary episode. I have talked my editor into alternating between Infinite episodes and the other two series. So, Infinite Archival Line, Infinite Greenfield, Infinite Archival Line, Infinite Greenfield, that sort of thing. That's going to accomplish a couple things. First of all, the Infinite episodes tend to be shorter. I mean, really, Archival Line was the shortest at one point, but I may be lengthening. I was keeping them to one Minecraft day before, which is about 20 minutes, I think. But the issue is now I'm spending more time underground or in the nether where I can't see what time it is, so keeping to that sort of limitation doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Plus, I've been just sleeping and continuing to record more often. Anyways, so yeah, these in Infinite tend to be quicker to record and quicker to transfer and quicker to upload. And now that I'm getting on the outer rings of this, I'm having to do bigger and bigger groups of things to circle the outside. And that's kind of what I'm talking about here, is there's some tension in figuring this out, because each ring adds about 10 portals. And I don't know. At the start with the smaller portals, it was easier to figure out what I was going to do, and I kind of started personal with the inner rings and primal letters and numbers with the next set of rings, and now I'm getting kind of abstract and esoteric with the Easter eggs. Well, that's not esoteric. I suppose it counts as abstract. I mean, those were preset group of specific worlds they created, whereas I think all the rest of these are procedural, just based on the characters. I don't think I've discovered anything that was like a hidden Easter egg that was part of what I was looking for. Is like, why would you release all the Easter eggs? They aren't really Easter eggs if you do that. So I thought that was a hint that there might be more out there to discover, but I haven't found any more. There are a few that kind of feel like it, but I don't think they really are. I just think they worked out well, like Omega. Omega's a really interesting one that feels like some sort of post-apocalyptic world or whatever. Alright, I'm going to get a sip of water. But yeah, we're kind of spiraling beyond what's easy. We just did the Kabbalah Paths of Wisdom, which fit on the other half of the ring as the geometric cave signs. I forgot to put the word cave in here. Would have fit in the middle there just fine, but I already talked about that. those signs were probably used on the surface, but it's just the ones in the caves that survived. So yeah, while we found them all in caves, I think they weren't isolated to the caves back when they were in usage. I don't know. Sunset. So yeah, and I got to deal with these chickens. Well, I was thinking first, let's see. Well, I kind of screwed that up here. But I was thinking if I freed them, they could start to travel into this larger outer ring, and now I've just picked up so many eggs. I didn't mean this to be an egg throwing episode. Oh, sorry. Hey, welcome to the spiral. Hey, welcome to Minecraft. You exist now. Hey, welcome, chicken, welcome. All three of you to the world. Welcome to Spiral Dimension. Welcome to Minecraft. Hey, welcome, newborn. Welcome, little chicken. Ah, jeez. Hey, welcome to the world. Hey, welcome to Minecraft. Hey, you exist now. Welcome. Hey, welcome to the world, little chicken. Good to have you. Yeah, they could start walking around, but part of the problem is they'll get stuck here. Let's see, I can use some of this stuff to get out. That works well because the chickens stay in. And then that means I can pick up these. Oh. What? Oh, that's an axe thing? Yeah. That's a pick thing. That's an axe thing? Maybe? That's a shovel thing. No? That's gotta be a shovel thing. Right? Huh, I don't know. Yep. Okay. Did I fill that in? Is that filled in? Oh boy. I want to make sure they can escape. Oh, I filled that. No. I can't tell what's going on here. Does this drop? Yeah, that drops all the bamboo. I don't need this bamboo here anymore. And there must be more sand under this sand because... Oh no, it's not falling. Oh, there's earth under that sand. Okay, that looks clear under for now. Alright. So if I do this, I can get out. Okay, yep. Making all sorts of mess for myself. I guess that will stop them. Okay, so the chickens can, or no, they can get out from here. Alright, I'm gonna give them the chance to start working their way out of this spiral. Am I gonna regret that? Maybe I'll regret that. Will I regret that? Okay, we've given them the one ring. The second ring. Let's block them off here. I should do it on this side. Okay. Alright, so now they've got two full rings they can explore. Sorry, that was a distraction. I don't have signs. I meant to grab signs. So anyways, there's my signs. Okay. This is getting more and more challenging as it gets bigger. For a couple reasons. Obviously, they take more time. But part of what's hard is each ring jumps about 10. That's an average. In specific, between rings, we've gone from 3 to 10. But I'm just going to explain the jumps. So the first jump was 10, then 12, then 8, then 12, then 9, then 11, then 12. It's a weird progress, and I don't know if that's all accurate, because there are times that I've skipped one, and I don't know if I've consistently counted those or not. Anyways, what's my point? So, first of all, it's not an even progression. Even if it was, the only way I'd consistently hit every number is if it only added one per ring, which either I'd have to use these real densely, which I'm glad I didn't. These are dense enough. I mean, each of these hallways is the width. Well, it's wider than a portal, so it feels pretty natural to walk down these hallways, but it's still pretty easy to back into the other ring. I don't think I've triggered a portal that way, except in creative mode. Anyways, but part of the problem is that, like, the way I'm getting ideas for these now is I count a ring and then I search for, like, some category that has that quantity in it. It's pretty tricky, but I'll look at the Wikipedia entry for that number. That gives me some pretty good ideas. I'm gonna tab over so I can explain this. Wikipedia has an entry for all the prime numbers. I mean, not all, obviously. I don't know when they stop, but they go pretty far. And each entry says 39. This is an example, sorry. Each entry says the number. It says, is the natural number following 38 and preceding 40. So it has links to the prior and subsequent numbers. And on the right, it has a table of how the number's written in words. It has factors, divisors, Greek numeral, Roman numeral, binary, and other bases. And then it'll have sections in mathematics, and it gives you information about why that number is interesting or important. in math, in science, sometimes with a subsection in astronomy, and it will give you like what atom that is a number for. And maybe at some point soon I'll do the atomic, the periodic table. And then in astronomy, it'll give you any significance like stars with that number in it, or whatever. In religion is a section. I think that's how I ran across the Kabbalah, Paths of Wisdom. And then it has in other fields, which is really probably what I'm most interested in, but is very hit or miss. For example, like with 39, it's the title of a John Buchan novel and subsequent films, one by Alfred Hitchcock. It's the age American comedian Jack Benny claimed to be for more than 40 years. I guess that was a running joke of his. It is a song by The Cure. It is a song by Tenacious D. It is a song by Queen. There's a book series called The 39 Clues, revolving around 39 clues hidden around the world. So the problem with the arts and entertainment section is I don't want to just base it on a single reference, pop culture or historical reference. And it needs to be a quantity of things. I need a list of like 39 distinct items for this to be helpful. And I can't just keep using numbers or letters because I've already done those. Well, I've done 1 through 12. I could certainly push numbers further, but and I could do other things with numbers, like I could list prime numbers past 12 or something. I don't know if it matters. Again, if the numbers weren't programmed in as an Easter egg, as a specific world, I don't know if there's going to be a discernible pattern or an important. Like I don't want to focus on minutia of how this works. I'm hoping if I use some general words, I might run across another Easter egg. But in a way, this is just this strategy I'm using is to find things that are easy to type in and that have some general meaning, and have to find categories that will let me move quickly through a bunch of words. Yeah, arts and entertainment doesn't really help me. That's the number of episodes they made for The Honeymooners. It's how many days they compete on the show Survivor. But yeah, just a reference to the number doesn't give me a list of words to use. And then in the history section, this might be the most useful in general, but as these numbers get bigger, it gets harder to find a list of words. For example, under history, and some of this can get depressing. Under history for 39, it's the number of signers to the United States Constitution. So I could use their names, either their full names or just their last names. But I doubt any of that is going to have specific meaning or interest to many people out there or to the creators of Minecraft such that they'd be using them for an Easter egg. It's the traditional number of times citizens of ancient Rome hit their slaves when beating them. Apparently, they didn't want to hit them 40 times, so they would hit them 40 save 1. They would whip them or flog them 39 times. But again, that doesn't give me items or words or things to type in. It's just counting up to that. Yeah, it's the duration in nanoseconds of the nuclear reaction in the largest nuclear explosion ever performed, the Tsar bomb, which was a test. That's, yeah, a lot of these are pretty grim. And again, that's just nanoseconds. It's only counting the number of Scud missiles which Iraq fired at Israel during the Gulf War in 91. Okay, maybe each of those missiles had a unique name, but probably not. The number of bodies found in a refrigerated articulated lorry in Grays, Essex, United Kingdom last year. I think that was a truck full of immigrants. Anyways, so yeah, none of that helped me. All right, let me. Whoops. Am I still recording? Yes. Okay. I just tabbed. Oh, I clicked the launcher instead of the game. All right. Oh. Okay. I'm on an orange box. I wondered if I was in creative mode because it looked like I was floating, but no, standing on a box. So, anyways, the reason I was looking at 39, sorry, is because I'm now facing 77 portals. I finished them off and counted them out, and there's 77 around here. And I've been trying to stick to a full ring, but I can't find a list of 77 anything that seems important. I don't know if I checked 76. But yeah, as these get larger, that gets harder anyways, because what am I going to find? Maybe I'll check 76 quick. Hold on. 76, enter. Gas station, of course. $76 is a telephone number? What? Oh. In mathematics, a telephone number is a sequence of integers that count the ways n telephone lines can be connected to each other, where each line can be connected to at most one other line. Whatever. Okay, so that it's not a. Yeah, okay. I thought they meant it was a number you could dial with a telephone and reach something. Anyways, I shouldn't be doing this in the recording, but yeah, 76 is important to America because of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. And I think that's why the gas stations are named 76. Spirit of 76, 76ers basketball team in Philadelphia, which is where the Declaration of Independence was signed. '76 trombones in The Music Man. Yeah, there's nothing helpful here. So yeah. Thus the challenge of these larger numbers. And I've been wanting to, I mean, so far, if the loop is too big to use as is, I've been splitting it in half. That way I can start from each side here on this diagonal pathway I'm using as kind of an entrance to these loops. So whereas I started out with a single concept on each loop, I started splitting them. I guess here, character roles and numbers 0 through 12. This was the first loop I split. So instead of having like an entrance and an exit, there's an entrance each way. And my thought initially was this would be like a museum, and you'd kind of start in the center and work your way outward. So each of these would be going clockwise as you experience the portals to your left, a left to right path, which just makes sense to me. So you would experience going that way with like a museum path. You'd experience the character rolls forward, which was chronological, and then you'd experience these numbers backwards. And then you'd go through the Easter eggs forwards, and this is an exit. Then you'd go through the Semitic Abjad, the Proto-Sinaitic signs forward, and you'd end up doing the Greek alphabet letters backwards. Then you'd go through the English alphabet letters, and by doing capital then lowercase, I got the 26 doubled into 52. So you exit here. We're doing a little recap. Then I did the Minecraft credits, which is really part of the Easter eggs, but I also missed red, green, and blue, which I still haven't worked in. We'll do that at some point. Then I did the geometric cave signs of Ice Age Europe, and you'd experience those forward. Of course, that's just alphabetical according to how the person who categorized these named them, which I talked about at the time, which would mean at the back corner you'd end up experiencing the Kabbalah Paths of Wisdom backwards. But like a museum, if you were coming here just to experience one part, you could enter from here, do them right to left, and that way you would do them in their order. In this case, it would be the order they appear in the Torah, in the first book of the Torah. Anyways, so we're here, and I looked for something there was 77 of, but I couldn't find anything. So then I thought, well, if I split it in half, it might be easier to find something, but that's 39 and 38. Which is which? I think that's 38. Yeah, then 39. And I was reading you from the list of 39 things, and none of that seemed good. The one thing I found in the religion section is that 39 is the number of mentions of work or labor in the Torah. And I don't have specific reason to be following the Jewish faith. It's one of the world religions that I feel like I know the least about. I grew up in a very Christian-centric part of the world, part of the country, part of the state. Holland, Michigan has a lot of Protestants, probably more than Catholics. And I was raised in the Presbyterian faith, which is a form of Protestantism that branched off from Calvinism for political reasons. The Calvinists had their elders or deacons chosen by the priests, and the Presbyterians wanted to choose their own elders and deacons. So they separated from the Calvinists. This is my understanding. I could be wrong. I could have my history wrong. But they separated from the Calvinists. And, of course, Calvin's the one that started Protestantism because he put his list of grievances against the Catholic Church, nailed him to a church. Anyways, but I've studied the world. I had an intro to world religions class when I was in high school. I went to the local Christian college, actually, Hope College in Holland, and took a class, Intro to World Religions. After I finished calculus my senior year at Hope College, they had a special program for people who were far enough ahead in math that they could take a class at the local college. Anyways, I'm getting off into personal stuff, but I was tired of calculus after one term of it and decided to take Intro to World Religions, and since I was in the program, that facilitated that. Anyways, eating an apple. Seems kind of religious. So, what's my point? Oh, I learned about Buddhism, and then I took an Intro to Buddhism class once I got to the University of Michigan, and that kind of turned me off from popular Buddhism and helped me realize that pretty much all religions have powerful wisdom at their core and have also been corrupted over time by men, by humans, mainly men. Darn patriarchy. So, anyways, my point being that I don't mind looking into Judaism a little bit, because of the fact that, well, of the world religions, the two biggest that I don't have a lot of knowledge of are probably Judaism and Islam. And in a way, I don't feel bad about that, because Christianity was born from Judaism, or the culture and world, and it still uses the Torah as its Old Testament. It's just been edited over time. And similarly, Islam was born from Christianity, or the world and culture of Christianity, and their Quran picks up where the Bible left off, just like the Bible picks up where the Torah leaves off. And of course, those statements are controversial to highly religious people, because Jewish people will say, it's not the same path. Christianity veered off with all sorts of weird concepts, and Islam will say the same thing about Christianity. And there are changes over time, in the Hebrew tradition, the Savior has not returned yet. And in the Christian faith, Jesus was the return, and we're waiting for him to come back. And maybe I'm saying that wrong. I don't care. I'm going to move on. And in the Muslim faith, Moses. I should have mentioned Moses as the Savior in Hebrew. And I don't even... A Savior would be easier to say. Safer to say. Anyways, in Islam, you've got Muhammad, who's not the return of Christ, but is another in a series of prophets, extending from Moses to Christ to Muhammad. Anyway, so 77 doesn't help, but the 39 on this side could be the forms of labor. It also could be... No, that's what we're moving on to next. And one thing I like about the 39 forms of labor is that I can actually get reasonable translations for them. Without getting too deep into the roots, the first few are planting, plowing, and reaping. And I might even remove the ing just to make them active verbs and turn it to plant, plow, reap. And I think that will work for most of them. Just using the active verb. Just to shorten them. And at least that way they're English words. I could try to use the Hebrew words, but the problem there is that some of the characters aren't on the basic keyboard. Like, to access the actual letters, like for Horesh, there's a dot under the H, and there's, the actual Hebrew letters, which look like, there's shapes that don't exist on the keyboard. And I might be able to cut and paste those. I don't think cut and paste works in Minecraft. I might be able to get it through keyboard shortcuts, but it just is more work. Anyways, so I think these 39 I'll make the Jewish types of work. And that puts them, that kind of gives us a Jewish section here with the Kabbalah paths of wisdom and the traditional forms of labor, which is kind of cool that those end up next to each other. But then it leaves 38 on the other side, and in looking at 38, I couldn't find anything good that there was 38 of. And then I remembered that at the back I sometimes leave a space as separation between these half loops. So if I did that, it would be 37 on this side, and I looked at 37, and I didn't find anything that jumped out at me until I got to the in other fields section, and it listed the great gnats traditionally worshipped in Burma. And for a second, I thought maybe I would list these because this is a form of Buddhism, which is one of the religions I feel a stronger affinity for. And I might have become a Buddhist, except that my intro to Buddhism class made me realize that one of the types of Buddhism out there is just people sitting in shrines, chanting the name of a bodhisattva, hoping they will come to set them free. And to me, that seemed just as simple and reductionist and basic as people just praying to God to save them every night before they go to bed. And I like the idea of your religion being a path that you learn through, and an ascension that you climb, and an ongoing effort that you don't just stop and repeat over and over again. And the idea of a whole bunch of Buddhists just repeating the same name over and over again kind of made me sad, and realized that what I really appreciated was the Buddha himself and the core teachings and the ideals, and that even in the modern practice of Buddhism, something is lost, or can be. I kind of appreciate Zen Buddhism more, where it's an attempt personally to work towards enlightenment, rather than just calling out the name of someone who's been enlightened, hoping they'll come and save you. Anyways, so apparently on the island of Burma, that is an island, isn't it? Maybe it's just a country. Anyways, in Burma, there's a form of Buddhism that worships 39 gnats, and that's spelled N-A-T. Or not, sorry, not 39. 37. So if I were to take, this was 39 on the right. If I was to take the 38 and cut off one, I'd end up with 37 here. So I was looking at a list of 37 things. And the official gnats of Burmese Buddhism, number 37. But once I saw this list, again, this is something I don't want to type out. Thagyamin, Min Mahagiri, Namadauyi, Shwe Nabe, Thonban Hia, Taungu Minguag. And in the Burmese, these are almost all single words. Some of them are double. But a lot of them in English become 2 or 3 words, and it's a lot of letters that aren't familiar to me. And once I read this a little bit, I realized that these were the gods' native, or not even gods, but spirits, native to Myanmar. I guess that's Burma. It used to be called Myanmar. and now the country's named Burma, if I have this all right. But anyways, so what happened is Buddhism spread to Myanmar, and they realized that they couldn't wipe out the fact that the local population worshipped these spirits. And so instead of trying to eliminate it from their culture, they decided to accept it into the local Buddhist practice. And so the Buddhists chose 37 of these spirits or nats to kind of accept into the Buddhist tradition. So it's only local to Burmese Buddhism, which means it's pretty isolated. And it also has a history of this cultural appropriation, or I don't know the best way to phrase this. It's a colonizing religion, accepting local tradition into it, and history is rife with this. I mean, a lot of the Christmas traditions are due to China pushing north into like Germanic and Nordic areas and accepting their traditions. I mean, until Christianity pushed north, the evergreen trees weren't known. Anyways, it's not to get lost off this topic, but so this is a very localized list of spirits, and one that's the only reason it's specifically 37 is that's what the Buddhists chose, and they basically said, okay, these 37 spirits will recognize, and the rest we won't. And so they kind of accepted these spirits into Buddhist tradition locally and rejected any others that were lesser known or whatever. So it's not a great thing in my mind for this usage. I don't want to type them out, and I don't want to focus on just like a very localized phenomenon. And I know that the center here is very localized to me personally. But as I've moved out, I've tried to get away from that and find things that are more perhaps of universal interest, or at least can be a source for my own learning, that come from the world and not just personal. And I can't think of any like lists of things I've made that I want to use for any part of this at this point. So moving outward, I'm going to be looking for sources from the world. Anyway, so where are we at? So this direction is going to be the Jewish types of labor. I've seen it phrased work. And I suppose even this is kind of negative. This is the types of work that are prohibited on the Sabbath, which would be Saturday for them. But I think it can be seen as a positive, because these are the recognized types of work as codified in their religion. And the day of rest each week is kind of meant to honor God's day of rest after he created the world. And I like that idea. In Christianity, it's shifted to Sunday instead of Saturday. Um, and they don't have the strict laws about types of work, but it's still a lot of, I mean, especially where I grew up in Holland, Michigan, a lot of stores closed on Sunday, and you couldn't buy alcohol on Sunday when I was growing up. They've changed that law in Michigan now, but that used to be a state law. Um, and still in Holland, Michigan, there's a lot of places, even car washes and stuff, that are just closed on Sunday. And I like the idea of having a day of rest, um, whether it's to focus on faith or to focus on family or just to take a breather, you know. So, yeah, that's going to be those 39, and that left 38 or 37. But as I said, I couldn't find a good list of 37. And I didn't want to use the Burmese Buddhist local spirits. So what I realized I probably should do, and I'm not a huge fan of doing this, but is split this half into half. So 38 split in half is 19. And I looked at the number 19 and I couldn't find anything that there were 19 of. And the other thing I've been doing beyond just checking Wikipedia is search Google for what is there 19 of, and that didn't help. And I've tried 19 number, 19 quantity. Those didn't help. And in counting this out, I realized that I have, I think, 20 on the back stretch and 18 on the side. So I thought, well, I could split it 18 and 20. And I couldn't find 20 of anything that I wanted to do. And looking at 18, the closest I could find, there are 18 books in the Bhagavad Gita. So that would let me dip my toes into, 18 chapters. That would let me dip my toes into Hindu tradition, which is kind of where Buddhism was born, was out of Hindu tradition and culture, almost a rejection of it. But yeah, even if I chose those 18, the problem is that I would still be left with the 20 in the back, and I couldn't find anything for 20. And if I skipped one, as I've done in the back at times, I would still leave 19, and I hadn't found anything for 19, and I couldn't find anything else for 18 that was similar. So yeah, instead of that, I recalled that one thing I've been trying to work in here, or wanted to work in here, that I haven't found a place to fit, is the major arcana cards of the tarot. And those are 22 in number. So I realized that if I did those on this side, Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just debating layout. I mean, I could say Major Arcana Tarot cards. This is almost like a subtitle. I could stretch it to 3 or 4 lines somehow. We'll just do that. So that'll last 22, and that leaves me with 16. And in searching for the number 16, I noticed that it's the number of rays in the Virginia sun. Virginia? I don't know. Symbol by Philip's Urgiad dynasty. I have no idea what that is, but it mentioned that it was possible religious symbol representing the Olympian gods. But when I search the Olympian gods, I don't get 16. 16 petals on the imperial seal of Japan, which may relate to a number of provinces. Anyway, 16 is a pretty significant number mathematically, musically. Anyways, it's a nice number, but none of that really helps me. And then I noticed that it is the number of personality types in the Myers-Briggs classification system. And I've always found that interesting. Yeah, Myers-Briggs. I don't like that. I'll do that. Or wait. No, because I wanna mention that it's in the back. So behind. Whoops. Heaps. All right. Beyond Tarot. Okay. Or I could just say in. Nah. That's fine. I know what it means. Tarot cards, Major Arcana, and then the Myers-Briggs personality types. Okay. So they're kind of one path. And again, if you were doing this in museum form, you'd do those forward, and then once you got to the back, you'd be doing the Jewish types of labor in reverse order. Anyways, yeah, one thing I kind of like about this. Should I have more lights around? Makes the signs easier to read. How was I going to say? I've always been interested by systems of categorization, especially ones that try to encompass like the entirety of human experience. And one of the things I hate the most, and I've said this many times, that kind of anti-reductionism is the focus of my channel. The idea that life experience or the complexity of the world could be reduced into a dichotomy, black and white thinking, as they say, I feel like is the source of a lot of our problems, especially, I mean, black and white is one of the best examples. If you reduce human experience into darkness and light, then it becomes fairly natural to associate that with like good and bad, that we move towards the light and move away from darkness, and the light brings us food and joy, and the darkness brings us, I'm pointing to where the moon just was, but darkness brings us, fear and uncertainty and the unknown. And then you start to apply those to like skin tones and stuff, and you get into dangerous territory. So I've always appreciated forms of classification that move beyond two. And I think politically that's one of our problems, is that we've reduced politics into this binary spectrum, this dichotomy of left and right, red and blue. And the people on the red side think red is good, blue is bad, and the people on the blue side think blue is good and red is bad. And it does a disservice to both sides because it just polarizes it, and it creates extremists who just push one way or the other. They think that their political leaning is pure good and the opponent is pure bad, and it leads to this divide and conquer type of interaction with the complexity of the world. Are all that? Wow, those chickens really like to walk. Where did they all go? Well, this should keep them. Well, now I'm hunting chickens. So, anyways, where are all the chickens? Now I'm worried about the chickens. They don't have a way to escape, right? There they all are. You guys are on a pilgrimage, huh? Why didn't... Oh, I know what happened. Because I was standing down there, and they were all just kind of milling around. Alright, I'm going to pick up their eggs. That's an interesting Minecraft phenomenon I don't think I've thought about. This is a lot of eggs, though. So what happened is the randomization of their movement allowed them to move away from me. But once they got far enough, they got to an unloaded section, or an inactive section. So they would walk back and forth until they walked out of my range, and then they'd stop and unload. So the map knows they're there, but they're no longer actively moving. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Hey, welcome to the... Get down there. Welcome to the world, both of you. Welcome to Spiral. Hey, is that one? Welcome. Oh boy. Welcome to the world. Oh, gee, no. Okay, he saved himself. Good. Welcome to the world. Oh boy. I'm gonna do this later. I wanted to finish this video. It's already getting pretty long. So that's the strategy. Continuing the spiral. We'll be doing the tarot cards next, the major arcana. And I like those well enough. They tend to be short words that actually have English meaning. I will probably cut off the word the. So like this first one won't be the fool. It'll just be fool. And I'm going to be using lowercase, as is my own personal idiom. And some of them don't have the word the, like strength and justice. Some of them do have multiple words, like Wheel of Fortune. I will use Wheel of Fortune. But for any that have the word the, I'll just cut off the word the. So it'll just be fool, etc. Wizard. I think it's wizard, right? Or is it the master? Anyways, I'll use a list. And after that, we'll do the personality types. And the thing I like about these is there are a series of these categorizations that use 4 groups. And the tarot cards use 4 suits, as do traditional cards. Instead of clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts, the tarot suits are staves, swords, pentacles, and cups. I didn't arrange those in the same order, but that's okay. And those often are believed to correlate with like the 4 winds and the 4 seasons. And by 4 winds, I mean 4 cardinal directions, north, east, south, west, and the 4 seasons, and the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water. And Myers-Briggs is based on like 4 dichotomies that can be arranged in any groupings of associations. So you end up with 4 times 4, 16. Because on each of those dichotomies you can fall on one side or another, and it's been criticized because it's been criticized as a pseudoscience because some of those dichotomous pairs don't end up true dichotomies in practice. So you could be like both sides of that pair. So in some of the categories, it's arbitrary, and some are based on like judgments. Like one side is considered positive and the other side considered negative, at least in the wording or in traditional practice or whatever. And also, some of the categories aren't mutually exclusive, so there'll be like a strong overlap between the first and second, which means that the distribution of the 16 personality types aren't equal. So some personality types are a lot more common than others. I think I end up in one of the less common personality types, but anyways, I still find it interesting. And the names for the 16 types were come up with later, not by Myers or Briggs, I believe. So they aren't like truly necessarily archetypical, but I think it's another categorization that has interest, and I even think it's fitting to pair it with the Major Arcana cards because those are a similar thing. The Major Arcana is maybe more of a telling of a story. It's kind of, in that way, it's kind of like the Kabbalah Paths of Wisdom, that it can be considered a journey of one person, and it's interesting because like the 22 are kind of like a mirror of themselves in that the middle one is an inflection point and the others kind of mirror each other around it. So like the Fool is the opposite of the World at the end. The Fool being the start and the World being the conclusion, and the Fool being like the seed and the start of the path and like pure potential, and the World being the summary of all things and the end of the path, and a full realization of that potential, or culmination or whatever. Anyways, we got another sunset, and I've been talking for how long? A long time. Where's the time? Over an hour. Hour 13 minutes. Wow. So sorry about that. I thought this would be a lot quicker episode, but now you know the plan moving forward. I'm not sure when I'll record these, but one advantage is now that this is laid out, I can record them as I go, and I'm already pretty far ahead. My editor is uploading the Kabbalah Paths of Wisdom as we speak, and he's only maybe halfway through them. Not even. He's not even halfway through them. So, even if he only uploads 2 videos a day, I keep doing that, but whatever. I'm pretty sure he's male. I'm pretty sure Z is male. I'm pretty sure my editor's man. A cis male. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I didn't mean to start talking about my editor. Even if he does 2 a day, with the new alternating plan, one of those, that would be 1 infinite a day, and then either an archival line or Greenfield each day. Which, even if he were to do that, even if they were to do that, they would still have about a month of videos already. Oh, I don't think I have a month's worth of Greenfield or Archivaline, though. 18 Greenfield, 32 Archivalines. So I do have a month of Archivalines. Alright. So I really should be recording more Greenfield next, I guess. Sorry, now I'm planning in front of you, and maybe you don't care. But I guess I'll be switching to recording Greenfield, and then I'll come back to do the Major Arcana, and then I might switch to Archivaline, and then I might come back to do Myers-Briggs, and then I might switch to Greenfield recording, and then I might come back for the Jewish types of work or labor. That's my plan for the next few months, I guess. Next few months? Well, that's my plan moving forward for recording. We'll see where all this goes. And I was thinking that I might build some shortcut paths up here. As we move forward, it might become more important to do that. These scaffoldings kind of work, but I don't know, they're kind of ugly. They definitely look cheap and temporary. So I think what I may do is build paths with slabs. One advantage of slabs is I can kind of use them as slow stairways. They're lower to the ground. I won't get these weird like gaps on the lower end. But anyways, what I'm thinking is that from this point I might send out offshoots, and maybe I'll use the diagonals. I mean, that's partly what inspired this thought, is I have a break between what will be the Major Arcana and starting back close to the corner will be the start of the Myers-Briggs personalities. But I guess if you were entering from down there anyways, like where the portal was, if that's where you're entering, you would come to that sign first anyways and walk straight down to get to there. That would be a shorter path than coming here to the center. But what I realized is as this gets broken up more, I might want to have pathways that lead back to the starting points, so that if you were a museum goer, nobody's here but me and us chickens. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. And I, the creator. But yeah, they're not going to walk around here until I spend time down there giving them the chance to. Hey there, newborn chicken. Welcome to the world. Hey there, welcome. So I should definitely end this. We're probably at 120. Hey, welcome to the world, little guy. Oh no, don't do. Welcome. Sorry, I hurt your beak. I guess when I'm Hey there, welcome to the world. I guess when I'm too much, hey, welcome. When I'm too much at an angle, hey, welcome to the world. Jeez. I guess that's what's happening. Is my angle is putting them closer to the block, and they're actually spawning with their beak in the brick. You're sitting off the edge there. Come in a little bit. What? Or go out. Or go out. Ouch. No, now you're on the edge again. Come on. Come on. Run around here, buddy. Run around here. Oh. Teleport is good, too. Alright, that looks more natural. You kind of guard the entrance there. Alright, well, that's a darn planning session for the next ring of infinite portals. That gives us what is that total? That's 77, so we're not going to have breaks. That's fine. We'll just flow straight from the major arcana into the personality types. In a way, some of the major arcana cards sound like personality types, like the Emperor and the Sorceress. So that's fine. I can put another sign over the first Myers-Briggs, or below it, or something. And then at the back, the signs will be on the opposite edge. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Oh, I used all my end rods. Okay. And I guess I'm out of extra food? Like, bigger than one stack? I suppose I should be growing carrots. I don't know why I'm holding y'all here at this point. Just checking if I have more food. I guess I should put another shulker box there. Oh. Where? Oh. Okay, I thought another one fell over. Anyways, oh, I just wanted to put that there. Yeah. Alright. Insert catchphrase here.